Hi guys, welcome to this session. My name is Somajit Goswami. I'm the founder of Competition Crusade Classes, and in today's session we are going to look at this set. This is a scheduling based set. Also, I would like to say before I start the session that please switch to 1.5x the speed, playback speed, because I will probably take a little bit more time explaining things, and I think you guys have less time to watch content. So that being said, let us delve into this set. This is a very interesting set, as you can see it right in front of your screen. This is a past AIMCAT DILR. So recently, while I was taking one of my classes in my what I have a schedule every year, I asked the students to go to any one of the past mock series, AIMCAT, SIMCAT, mockcat, whatever, and then solve all those questions in an actual timed format. This particular set, somebody asked me कि सर ये क्वेश्चन सॉल्व ही नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब 40 minutes तो छोड़ो, it actually can take more than 40 minutes also to solve. But I said कि this is not the kind of a set that will that you are supposed to solve in an exam setup. They are trying to teach you something. Understand, although scheduling, project management, time management, whatever name you want to call the these type of sets, they frequently come in the CAT. In 2019 they have come, in 2020 CAT they have come in the actual test, I'm saying. Okay, and mock test will give you these sets any which ways. Okay, so let's go through the set once. Okay, so this basically talks about Harsh, a contractor that has a civil engineering project, and to manage the project more efficiently, he divided the entire project into 7 tasks, 1 through 7. And among the 7 tasks, certain tasks cannot be started until certain prerequisites are completed. So basically that it is not like 1, 2, 3, 4 can start just like that. So there are certain prerequisite tasks that you also have to do before you can go into that task. Also, what is written over there is that Harsh assigned each of the 7 tasks to exactly one person among 5 persons through persons A through E. So there are 5 persons A, B, C, D, E who are probably going to do this thing. Now the point is that the actual interpretation starts from this area. However, only certain persons are competent. So it is not like all the 5 persons are competent. Only certain persons are competent enough to finish the task, and a task can be assigned only to a person competent to finish the task. So this is the most important. For any task, any person who is competent to finish the task takes the same number of days. So suppose A and B are competent, so A will take the same number of days, B will take the same number of days. Nothing more complicated over there. Okay, so further, each person can work on only one task at a time, and any person who finishes a task assigned to him take 1 week's rest before he starts another task. So basically, if B has completed task 1, and hypothetically speaking, we are not interpreting the set right now, so hypothetically speaking, that is something that I can understand from the this thing. If B has completed task 1, task 2 B can only start after taking a 7 days ka rest. Okay, and you have to understand, there is a factor of simultaneity that I have frequently encounter in these type of set, is that if 2 people simultaneously do a job, okay, so somebody takes 20 days, this other person takes suppose 15 days. What happens is that if simultaneously they can do, so the other person who has completed his job at the 15th day, the additional 5 days till which the suppose X and Y are doing, X is taking 20 days, Y is taking 15 days. So X till the 20th day and Y till the at the end of 15th day till 28th day will have 5 days worth of rest. So that is the concept of simultaneity that you would have to understand this thing, this set. Okay, the table below provides for each of the tasks, and so basically the table you can interpret. We don't need to understand it from the statement. Let us go through the questions once. Okay, let me see if I have zoomed in enough. Okay, so the questions are pretty standard type. The first one is pretty standard. They're asking you the minimum number of days that are required for completing the project. Question number 2 is the same. If the project is completed in the minimum number of days, to which of the following persons will the maximum number of tasks be assigned? If only 2 persons are assigned all the 7 tasks, what is the minimum number of days by which task 1 is finished? So this is where the student told me कि sir, these 2 questions have, मतलब 20 मिनट मेरे को एक पार्ट सॉल्व करने के लिए लगा, 20 मिनट मेरे को दूसरा पार्ट सॉल्व करने के लिए लगा. सो it should ideally not be the case, but yeah, test papers and the actual cat also has a system like this, but that is completely fine, guys. Understand this for a fact that this is a difficult set. By the very face value of it, I know scheduling and Gantt chart. Okay, so the representation is a Gantt chart format, which you guys will learn in your MBA schools. They are pretty, error prone areas, because you have to do a bit of a trial and error to understand the situations. Okay, now having said that, it is also the case that once you are able to understand, once you're able to go through the set, there is no taking you back. In that sense, let us start interpreting the data. Let us draw the table, and yeah, so these are the questions. Let me zoom out to its original layout. Now the most important thing that a student should do, and this is like the paramount, this is the paramount importance, this is of paramount importance, is that you have to jot down everything as it is, because otherwise things will get really haywired. Okay, now one thing that I would ask you to do is try to replicate the entire table. It will not take you more than 30-40 seconds, or maybe at the max 1 minute. So if you can replicate the entire table, replicate the entire table in your copy, because if you do not replicate, what else is logical reasoning or data interpretation? So logical reasoning, data interpretation is DI basically means how you can create tables. That is data interpretation. If you do enough and more table creation practice, there will come a stage where for certain set you might not even want to create a table. Okay, but that is a skill that you will acquire after a practice, enough practice. And what is logical reasoning? Logical reasoning is just playing around with arrangement, or certain cases, making cases, eliminating cases. Okay, so if you can do that kind of thing, that is completely fine. Okay, now let me see how I can make the table. So before making the table, one thing that I can see is task number 1 I cannot start before task number 5 is completed. So task 5 needs to be completed. So in other words, I can just write somewhere 1, and I know that 5 will be preceding that. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, so let me make the table in a pretty decent manner. So let me do this once. So there is 1 which is followed by 5, and if you look at this 5 is followed by 2 and 7. So there is 2, and then there is 7 that follows this thing, and there is nothing that that follows 2, before 2 rather, and before 7 also there is nothing, if I can see here. Let's go to 1 2 3, and let's go to 3. So 3 7, so 7, task number 7 needs to be completed before task number 3. That is fine. And then task number 4, if I look at 4, 3 needs to be finished and 5 needs to be finished. So if I go for 4, 3 also needs to be finished and 5 also needs to be finished. Okay, what about 6? For 6, 1 and 4, so I can probably make 6 over there, and I can make an arrow kind of a structure, any structure that helps you understand this bit. Okay, now let me replicate the table. Okay, okay, so what I will do is I'll say that these are my tasks and number of days, and then there is the competent person. I will not use the prerequisite data, so task number. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Let me draw the table and then come back. Okay, so I have just created the table, and this will really help me with so many things, because one question that you guys can ask me right now is, sir, आपने retrace क्यों किया? Table तो आपके सामने ऊपर दिख रहा है, so why did you do it? See, two things I am doing. One, it will help my life much more easier in terms of I know how many days who is taking and which particular person is permitted to do that particular task. Also, I want to teach you one thing, that in your exam setup you will not have a pen tab or anything. Okay, so I will also take the test with you guys. So I tend to do this thing in my pen and paper format. Also, I like to make the tables in I like to trace the table back into the table. This makes my interpretation so much more easier. Okay, now let's see what we can do with it. So there are two things I want you guys to understand very clearly. That is, the first one is simultaneity. And please forgive me if the spelling is wrong. Simultaneity. And the second one is the rest days. So these are the two things that you have to pay real attention to. And why do I say that? Is that because if you do not take rest days into consideration, you might as well, go into, jotting down more number of days than what is required. Okay, so just a second. Yeah. Okay, so now let's start filling the table. Okay, so simultaneity. What does simultaneity mean? Simultaneity means simple thing, that two persons can simultaneously start the job, and that can only happen if they are two separate people. One person can't do two things, right? That was the limiting criteria. So between B, C and E, for 7, 2 and 5, if you can see, I have made the table very intuitive in itself only. That 2 and 7 are, 2 and 7, they are pretty independent. So, two separate persons can start. Which two can be that? It can be C, E. So C can be here, E can be here, but I'll start off with B. Okay, just for the sake of my clarity, I'll start off with C. You can try, I am giving you an idea. You can try with your own approach. Okay. And please understand that B will take 25 days to cover this 7th task, and C will take 24 days, and all of this is happening simultaneously. So day number 1 B started, day number 1 C also started. 25th day is the day in which 7th task is completed. 24th day is the day in which 2nd task is completed. And this C fellow would have done a rest, 1 day ka rest. Okay, because 25th day में तो उसका कोई काम नहीं है C का. C will not do anything in 25th day, so he can rest. But can you say, but sir, can I not just simultaneously give E the same job? E can also start. No, E cannot start simultaneously, because you have to understand that the 5th job is dependent on 2 as well as 7, but my limiting criteria will always be 7, because 7 is taking more days. I hope that is pretty intuitive. If somebody is taking 25 days, obviously after the 25th day I can start. I cannot start before the completion. That was given in the question setup. So E will start from the 25th day itself. So 25th से लेकर के 19 more days he will add into his this thing, and what he will go is, he will go till the 44th day. Now I want you to understand that I haven't named the column, so I will use them as in how I like. Okay, now let us come to number 1. Who I can give? If I give it to B, B will have to come in with the rest days also. So I don't want to give any rest days, so I'll give it to a fresh person. I'll give it to A, and A will only take 14 days, and 14 days after this 5th task. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, and 5th task is completed after the 44th day. So 14 plus that is, so 44 plus 14. Okay, you can also use the plus sign, doesn't matter. Actually, the idea behind me writing it is that starting from the 44th day plus 14 day. Okay, so that is going to be the 58th day. So far so good. Now let's look at the 3rd task. Now please understand, 3rd task could have started after the finishing of the 7th task. And exactly when did 7th task finished off? Let's see. who can do this? Okay, between C and D, first of all, let me see who can do. So C, if C I give, C will come with some rest period issues. So I want to give it to D only. Okay, I would want to give it to D. Okay, and seventh day ka finishing is in 25th. Can I just add 25 to it? Yes, I can add 25 to the. So D can start his work the moment B completed the job, 7th task. D can start the job. So 25 plus 23, that will add up to 48th day. Basically what I'm what I mean by 48th day is that 48th day is the day in which the job will get completed, or the task will get completed for 3. So 3 will be this. Okay, now let's see between B and D who can do 4. So I have to constantly look at this diagram also, because I have to see whether I can go simultaneously or not. Okay, so 4 there is no scope for simultaneity. 3 has to be done and 5 has to be done. 5 will take 44 and this one would have taken 48. But between B and D, which one will I pick? So see, one thing that I want you to be very attentive is that I don't want to take D, because D will come with 7 days rest nonsense. I would want to give B after the 25th day till the 48th. So 25th to 48, B has done nothing. He has done the rest day quite well. So उसके वो 7 दिन के rest उन 25 से 48th day तक complete हो चुका है. In other words, you can just add 48 plus 16. So let's add that. So this is 4 and rather 8 and 6 is 14. 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. So this is till the end of 64th day. Now between A and B, which one will you pick? Now you are very much constrained between A and B. Which one will you pick? So if you pick B, one thing that B will come with 7 days. So I don't want to take B, I want to take A. The last job or the last day till which A has done is 58th. And understand that the limiting criteria for 6 is 4 and not 1, because 1 gets completed at the 58th. A is the only person who is completing it at 58th day. He is waiting till B completes the job, the 4th task, till 4th day. He has waited for how many days? If you can see, so 58, if you calculate, it will be 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. So actually 6 days worth of rest he has already received. Who has received? A has received. A has received 6 days worth of rest from 58th day to 64th day. So this is going to be, let me be a little quick. So this is going to be 20 plus 1. So the usual 20 days he will take for completing the task, and the 1 day worth of rest that is required. So 21 days. When you add 21 to this 64, that will become, okay, let me do it. That will be 85th day. So the answer to this question is, the first answer rather, let me take you to the question 1. Yeah, question number 1 says ki what is the minimum number of days required for completing the project, and that is going to be 85. Yeah, so this is going to be 85. Question number 2 says, if the project is completed in the minimum number of days, to which of the following persons will the maximum number of tasks can be assigned? Okay, so what I can do is, let me take you to the white area and open the table. So if I open the table, you can see who is doing the maximum job. So B is doing twice and then A is doing twice. There is nobody doing twice work. So the answer to this will be A and B both. Let's see if I have A and B both. So there is only A, there is no B. So the answer to this one will be this A. Now let's look into the third question. This is where the sets becomes a little difficult. Okay, if only 2 persons were assigned all the 7 tasks, what is the minimum number of days by which task 1 can be finished? Now you have to understand they are talking about only, okay, please remember that we are supposed to calculate the minimum number of days by which task 1 can be completed, and this next question is what is the minimum number of days required for completing the project. The same thing if 2 persons are doing. Okay. Now let me take you back to the situation. The situation, I think, is like this. I can probably use a little white space only. Yeah. So interesting enough, one thing that I want you to understand is that because I have been able to recreate the entire table, there's no not going to be a lot of understanding issue. What they're saying is they just want 2 persons. Okay, and which 2 persons? So can you randomly take X and Y? Can you randomly take 2 persons and then say no? You have to be very careful that these 2 persons should in fact be present in this structure. So let us do a simple reasoning exercise to understand who these persons can be. Okay, suppose I take A. A is not in task 7, A is not in task 2, A is not in task 3. Straight away A is cancelled. I cannot take A as among the 2 persons who can do the job. Understand, if somebody does task 1, the other person can do task 2. They have to be present in that area. Let's choose E. Okay, for E, I can see E is present in the first one, second one, third one, not in the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, even in the second. There's no E. Is there an alternative to it? E always comes with C. E always comes with C, but the last 4 attributes there is neither C neither E, and so in other words, logically you can eliminate E also to be the among the 2 persons who can do the jobs. Okay, now only we are left with 3 persons, B, C and D. Let's check with for D. Okay, so for D, let's see, D comes with C. Yeah, that's it. D comes with B. Okay, see, D comes with C, D comes with B. In other words, actually the one to be eliminated, the one that you can eliminate is D only, because B and C will make pairs. Now see, if I can standalone use B and C, so B will be used in the 7. The B is there, B is not there, but C is there. B is not there, but C is there. B is there, B is not there, but C is there. B is there and B is there. So in effect, you are able, so you can just do this reasoning exercise, a simple reasoning exercise. I don't think it will take you any more than 1 minute at the max, 1 minute to understand which this person will be. Okay, now that you have been able to figure out who are my who are these 2 people, I can probably make some cases. Okay, I will use the red color for the representation. So between B, C and E, I will try to use the same situation, the same logic, but this time around, instead of the other persons D, E and all, I only have B and C. So all of this becomes redundant. Oh, actually I think, let me have it. Okay, so my 2 contenders are B and D. I hope that is there. I will take B. So B, see, for task number 2 and task number 7, I can simultaneously give it to B and C. B takes 24 days, C takes B takes 25 days, C takes 24 days. So B and C, and the task will get completed in 25 days. So 25th day is the maximum that this thing will go. Acha, what about 5? The moment 25th is completed with B, C can come in for 5th task, because see, because I'm I'm just going with two characters, B, C, B, C, B, C. I'm just going with two characters. So one thing that I have to understand is that rest days will come into picture. Okay, this is where the set becomes a little difficult. But B will take 7 days worth of rest. Sorry, this is not D, this is C. C will take 6 days worth of rest, because I hope you have already understood why. Because C is only doing 20 till 24th day, so the 25th day he is anyways taking a rest, right? So this person will take 19 plus 6, that is 25 days. Okay, so at this point we are at the 50th day. At this point we are at the 50th day. 50th day. Okay, 50th day. Now this is complete. Okay, now see, 19 days. Who has done this job? C has done this job, right? C has done this job. So invariably C cannot come for the next, because C will come with the 7 days gap. I want B to come in. B will come in with how many rest days? Actually, if you visualize this, now B will not come with any rest days, and I am pretty sure that you guys can understand this also at this point in time, because all these 19 days B was not doing anything. So B can come in at his own pace, and he will complete from the 50th day. He will take 14 more days, and he will complete the task, which is task number 1, at the end of the 64th day. I hope that is visible. Okay, this is actually an answer to one of our questions. The third answer is this one. Okay, so let me take you to the area. This is the answer, 64. Okay, and the last one is basically minimum number of days आपको calculate करना है. So let's do that also. Let's do that. So far we have been able to calculate everything clearly and in a much better way. So let's see what we can do with this one. Okay, so far we are at 64th day. What can I do for this 3? Okay, I have to be a little bit careful now, because 3 is only dependent on 7. 3 was not dependent on 5 per se. Okay, but between C and D, who can do? Between C and D, this really makes my life so much more easier, because I know for a fact that B can't come. So C has to come invariably. C will have to come. Okay, that is the beauty of this question. So this, as you can see, the table basically makes it so much more easier for me ki which person will come. So C will come, that I know for sure. Okay, and it will anyways take 23 days. So the ones that I know, I'll write 23 days तो उसको लगेगा ही complete करने में. And what else is there? 23 days, and it can actually start at the end of the 7th day, because there is no prerequisite for that, because he doesn't really necessarily, he can okay, see, one thing, very interesting thing that I just realized is that 1 and 3 can simultaneously start their work. Okay, because you can see between 1 and 3 there is no linkage. So 1 and 3 can simultaneously start. In other words, after 5 1 can start, and after 7 3 can start. Okay, so 1 is taking almost, okay, let me just figure out this once. Give me 1 second. Mm, 23 plus 7. Actually 7, yeah. See, 3, 23, 26, 20, 44 plus 23, that is 7, 67, 67, 70. Okay, 67. Okay, everyone. So I'm really sorry for this, pause of 2 minutes, but I'm not really ashamed of this, because one wrong reasoning assumption and the entire set goes for a toss. Right now you can see this is the set that I decided, and I made a wrong reasoning. What I just said is that 3 and 1 can start simultaneously. That is not going to be the case. Actually, the case is between 5 and 3. If you can see, the only limiting factor between 5 and 3 is 7. So once 7 is done, 5 and 3 can simultaneously start. Okay. Now understand one thing for a fact, that 7 gets completed at the end of this 25th day. 5 gets completed at the end of this 50th day. And why am I this too much confined with this 50th day and this 5? Is perhaps because the one that is doing this business of C, of rather the task of completing this business of task number 5 is C, which is taking 50 days. Okay, and here okay, let me erase this. Is you will have to wait this, actually, because this C fellow will only do it, na. C fellow will do the job exactly, starting, so let me make you understand. This is very simple. This now it becomes very simple the moment you realize that the linkage between 5 and 3 is that they can start the work rather one after the other. So the simultaneity link is between 5 and 3. Okay, let's understand this. 50th day C is doing for task number 5. After that C will do for 3. C will do for 3. There is a reason, because no other person, B cannot do, so he will have to come. But the point is, at this point I cannot help but give him the 7 days resting period. Okay, plus the 23 days that requires him to complete the job, that is equal to 30 plus 50, that is 80 days. 80th day I can also say. Okay, this is interestingly difficult set. Okay, that is why it is even still it puzzles me so much. Okay, so between B, so now I know you guys have able to figure out. So this will for B, this position is for B, because C is not there. B will come for both the positions. But understand one thing, these 23 days that C takes for this task 3 ka completion, B would have got his 7 days rest, which he perhaps was after the 58th day. 7 day B would have got his 7 days rest. Okay, so B will not take any rest at this position. So what I am effectively saying is that he will in fact start. But then can you say ki, okay, let me just ask you one simple question, and that is, sir, why can B obviously B could have also simultaneously started after the 50th day, na? No, that cannot happen, because 3 is a limiting, there is a limiting factor. Simultaneity will not work in this point. Okay, I hope simultaneity is not creating a lot of problem for you guys, but 3 has to be completed for 4 to begin. Okay, we want 4 can only begin after 3 and 5 together. B obviously is not the rather 5 is not the limiting factor. 50th day is not the limiting factor, because this is less number of days. More number of days is taken for the third task to be completed, which is actually 23 plus 7 plus 50, which is 80th day. We just did the reasoning for that right now. Okay, so actually these 16 days will get added to the 80 days. Okay, so the 80th day plus 16, that will give me my 96th day. Okay, so task number 4 is completed by B at the end of 96th day. Now the thing is, I again know B will again have to come, because there is no option for C. If C, even if C had an option, suppose C ka ek option hota, even then you would have to wait for 1. Probably you would have to seek one, which day 1 is completed. 1 is completed 58th day. Can some other person start after the 58th day, if C would be permitted, then we could have gone that way. Right now that is not the case. So what I will do is I'll straight away add 96 plus the 7 days rest period plus the usual day that it takes, that is 27, and that will give me, so this is actually 7 7 14 plus 6 is 23, and this is going to be 3, so 9 10 11 12, so this is 123rd. I hope that is visible. 123rd day. Okay, so yeah, this was it. This was a good set. Took around 35 minutes, but I think we could have, you know, managed that set in less than 20 minutes only. The idea is that even if you do not take this question, I have shown you that these 3 questions were pretty, you know, easily doable in 20 minutes ka time with explanation. So if I cut out the explanation, probably I'll be able to solve this question in 12 minutes the max. Okay, because I have to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes. So okay, so in an exam condition, is this a good set to pick? I think yes, but I think you guys have understood the point so far, and the point is that you should only pick a particular set when you are confident about that set. Okay, so for example, if I was not confident about this set, I would probably not have picked this set for a test setup. Okay, thank you.